everybody, welcome back to another video. This is our part 2 on the Criterion Collection 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble this year, the 2021 sale. If you didn't check out our first video, go ahead and check that one out first, or after. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're watching both. We don't care. But we might do some callbacks to the first video. We're going to talk about the second half of our haul this year. We've got three more separate hauls. We did 3 in the first video. We're going to knock out the last 3 here. So yeah, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host for this video, Connor Nielsen. Welcome, buddy. Good to have you again.
Hey, so happy to be here. It's been a while, since the last time we saw each other. So I'm happy to see we're finally getting this done. All right, so haul number 4. I guess you could call this leg of the race a second wind, right? Because this is when they start restocking. You start seeing some titles, and you'd say, "I'm gonna get that." So, as always, my stacks are arranged by spine number of, because all of the Criterion films are arranged, or they have a number assigned to them. So the first one I got is another blind buy, but this one is sort of like a classic. It's not like on the AFI Top 100, but it is well known, and that is Gilda, starring Rita Hayworth. So you have not watched The Shawshank Redemption. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus or anything.
Sure, just throw that out there.
But that is actually based on a Stephen King short story called Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. And one of the things that is an ongoing sort of a motif in that story is that Andy Dufresne, this is throughout the early 20th century, where whoever the latest Hollywood starlet is, he has a poster of her on his prison wall. And the first one is Rita Hayworth, because all the guys are in the theater room watching Gilda. And
oh, wow.
And so we are a part of the Criterion Collection, I guess, fan community on Facebook, and I heard a lot of people. So this was on the shelf. So somebody posted a picture where it was like, "What is your favorite movie on this shelf?" And they had stuff like Mulholland Drive, The Brood, which is a really fun David Cronenberg movie, and there was other like Moonrise Kingdom, big movies that a lot of people like, right? And I saw a number of people saying, "Oh, Gilda, easily." I'm like, "Whoa, yeah. I guess it's great." Now,
sold.
So I'm like, I guess I'll grab that, because I hear a lot of people like it, and this is Rita Hayworth. This is it's like one of the those great performances from early film, because this is from '46. I do want to say though, you might be interested in grabbing this because its spine is particularly interesting. It is a hot pink, which is not exactly a color you see very often on on a release of any kind, and it really sticks out on your shelf, and I like the way it looks, so I grabbed that.
Yeah, I don't even know where I would put that. I only have 2 pink movies. It's Pink Panther and 16 Candles. And Psycho. I have 2 Psychos that are also pink. So yeah, 4 pink movies. I'll have to get that just to round out my pink section.
Yeah, and then another one of those filmmakers that I want to get more interest. I'm interested in and want to watch more of his work is Steven Soderbergh. His directorial debut won the Palme d'Or, and that is Sex, Lies, and Videotape. And so this is actually a very skinny release. So it saves space on the shelf, which is pretty cool. It has actually this really cool plastic housing that houses a digibook, and that's actually the cover. And so it's pretty bare bones and minimalist. It's just kind of black. This booklet doesn't even have any letters on the outside. It's just black. The interior splash is black. The disc is black. So I imagine when I watch the movie, there will be, maybe a little bit of reason as to why that is. But I picked this up because I hear it's great, and it won the Palme d'Or, and it's Steven Soderbergh, so who doesn't love him? And then the next one is another directorial debut. This is one that the premise just sold me on. It is from director Robert Zemeckis. It's his first movie. Before Back to the Future, before Roger Rabbit, he made a movie called I Want to Hold Your Hand. And
I've seen that. I like the cover on that.
I do too. So this is about a bunch of kids who are just trying to get to the Ed Sullivan Show to watch the Beatles perform. And it just sounds like a really fun concept. And it's apparently like got that very Robert Zemeckis-y, kind of Rube Goldberg, it's a mad, 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 mad world style. Everything is sort of connected and informs what's going on in other stories, kind of a thing. So I'm interested in that, and I will check it out.
Cool.
Another one I got is another blind buy, but I got this because I am a big fan of the director. This is from James Whale. This is the director of Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein. And he made a musical called Showboat. And so I grabbed it. I don't know anything about this movie, except it's directed by James Whale. And it's from 1936. So I got that. And then the last thing I got from this haul was a movie called Nightmare Alley, which is a pretty recent addition. This is a film noir. And the reason I got this is because A, I hear it's great, and B, Guillermo del Toro is remaking this movie, and it is scheduled to be released later this year. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Gotta check that out then.
So that is haul numero 4.
Yeah. So haul 4 is where I started. Just like you said, they hadn't restocked mine yet, and I just started picking things that I wasn't like itching to grab, but I definitely do want to own. So. Except for this first one. This first one was a complete recommendation of my wife. She wanted to watch this. It's called Holiday. Another rom-com from 1938. I love this. I love this color, this kind of primary blue, yellow, and red cover here. This is actually interesting. This is 2 years before Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant and the director would collaborate to make this movie, which I mentioned in my first one, Philadelphia Story. So this is where they all met, and then they came back and did this one. So I'm interested to check this one out. It's also a classic, but I don't know much about it. Like I said, my wife looked into it, and she really wanted to check it out with me. So we're gonna watch that one soon. That's called Holiday. And then keeping the rom-com train rolling. Boom! Connor's favorite film. And I can say that because if you haven't watched the first movie, or the first video we did, you don't know how much he hates this movie. But this is a cool release. I really like the artwork. Just the fact that they brought the, what is it? Is it a leopard or a cheetah?
It's a lion, right?
Why's it got spots?
Oh, yeah,
anyway,
it's a leopard. It's a leopard. That's
okay,
right, yeah.
I thought it was a leopard. Anyway, they really incorporated that motif throughout the entire artwork. This is, like I said, it's not my favorite. I enjoyed it well enough. I didn't hate it like Connor, but if you're going to watch anything in the screwball comedy genre, definitely check out His Girl Friday. Or if you want to lean more into the romantic, definitely watch Philadelphia Story. Those two are amazing. This is pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's fine. I wasn't intending on buying it, but I'm sure I'll watch it with the kids as they grow up at some point. It'll be fun for them. So I definitely wanted to own it. My wife and I watched that earlier this year, and that was a good time for us. So that is Bringing Up Baby. I don't even think I said the title. And then, of course, I definitely wanted to own this. Had a very, very good experience with this movie just a few weeks ago. Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. I don't need to say anything about this. I'm sure I'm the last person to finally sit down and see this. This is a classic. I watched this on the plane on the way to Oregon last month when I saw you, because Connor lives in Oregon, if you don't know. My wife and I were going on a birthday trip for her birthday, and we were out there in Oregon, and I watched this on the way, and it is amazing. Wow. How have I not seen this yet? This is really good. Usually when I'm on a plane and I watch a movie, as soon as it ends, I turn the credits off and go find another movie and watch it real quick so I can get through another one before the plane lands, because it's like a 4-hour flight from Atlanta to Oregon. But I did not do that at this time. I just kind of sat there. I was kind of like stunned, and I just like soaked it in and thought about it for a while. So this is a beautiful movie. Hilarious also. I know you like this movie a lot, so I don't really need to say anything about it.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. Makes you think, makes you laugh, makes you cry. Awesome movie and awesome release. I haven't opened this yet. Have you opened this one?
I have. It's got a lot of essays and behind the scenes, like pre-production and like script notes and all that stuff. Like Spike Lee wrote, has like a whole thing written about the making of it in there. Like it's a extensive release.
Yeah, it's really thick. It's a lot thicker than any of the ones I've shown so far, and I really like the artwork. It goes along with the movie. Ridiculous that he wrote and directed and starred in this movie when he was as young as he was. He looks like he's like our age. He's probably a little older, but it's crazy. Spike Lee's amazing. Check this one out. And then I told you that he'd be coming back. Wes Anderson, my favorite Wes Anderson movie of the ones I've seen, Moonrise Kingdom. Man, I love this movie. I'm a sucker for a good coming-of-age story, and I like movies about kids, from kids' perspectives. I think I've mentioned that before. I really, really like this movie. And this is also maybe one of my favorite film scores of anything.
Oh.
The Heroic Weather Conditions of the Universe by Alexander Desplat, I listen to all the time. I used to listen to it like at work, just while I worked, like over and over. Like I really, really like the score of this movie. It's such a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's also like in like the Fantastic Mr. Fox release where it's got the slide out, because it's a Wes Anderson movie, and I really like that image. Obviously that's from the famous tent scene. So yeah, excited to watch that again. My wife actually doesn't like this movie, or didn't the first time she saw it, so I'm excited to show that to her again, and hopefully change her mind on it. Because Wes Anderson can be kind of an unusual thing to get into. It kind of takes some adjusting, so I understand that. But this one really works for me, and I'm super excited to check it out again.
Yeah, I remember Fantastic Mr. Fox was the first one of his I watched, and it took a second for me to really have it click, because, yeah, I've seen people try to do Wes Anderson-y stuff before, and it just doesn't work the same way. Like, I'm not a big fan of Yorgos Lanthimos. To me, that's like edgelord Wes Anderson. But a lot of people love his stuff, and it took me a couple, but I have seen a Yorgos movie that I do like, so I don't know. It is maybe a bit of an acquired taste.
Yeah, like I said, this is my favorite of his that I've seen. I haven't seen Life Aquatic yet, and there's some earlier ones that I haven't seen. So I do want to check out more of those. I would have probably bought Life Aquatic if my Barnes & Noble had it, but they did not. So what's your fifth haul?
All right, so haul number 5. This one was interesting because I was thinking, I'm done, I'm out, but like Al Pacino says, just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. And
so true.
This one is also a bit of a prerequisites sort of thing, because I saw they had Rashomon, the Akira Kurosawa film, and I thought, I don't own that. I don't know why I don't own that. I want to watch it. It's never in stock. So I'm getting it. And so, and then I'm like, that's great. And then I noticed they also had Breathless, the sort of quintessential French New Wave like film school movie that I've never seen. I want to watch it. I hear it's good. It's never in stock. So I got it. And then I also noticed, so one of my favorite filmmakers is Fritz Lang. He made M. He made Metropolis. I love this man, okay? And I have never seen this movie Ministry of Fear, but look at that.
That's an awesome cover.
That cover is absolutely my kind of look, right? That sort of
That's so cool.
Art Deco kind of look. Yes, please. So Blind Buy. This one was $10 like sale price cheaper than all the other ones.
Oh,
so
yeah, for reference, we didn't talk about this. Usually Criterions run $39.99, $40, so we got all of these for $20 unless they were like a bigger box set. But all of mine, I think, were at the $20 price. So this one was only $10.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one was only $30, you know.
Normally.
Yes, normal price. And then, so I got it for $15. So.
Wow. I gotcha. That's cool.
And one of the great things about living in Oregon is we don't have sales tax, so.
Oh, boo. Boo this man.
Yeah. It's great. Oregon's pretty cool.
I may have spent more on my 26 than you spent on your 38.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now this one was also, you had mentioned, most of these run for $39.99. But these sets that have several stuff in them, They don't have. Sorry. This one was about $100 sale price. So this doesn't have that lower price point, but with the sale, this is when you get stuff like this. It is called Lone Wolf and Cub. If you do not know what this is, basically The Mandalorian is just the Star Wars version of this. It is.
They put a Star Wars Instagram filter on it, and they just released it.
Yeah, basically. So what's cool about this? So Lone Wolf and Cub is about a Ronin, a lone wolf, if you will, and he is he's like a mercenary bounty hunter. He used to be a samurai. He's like sort of disgraced, and then he finds a child and is looking over this child as he's making his way through the underworld. And over the course of, I think, 2 or 3 years, they made 6 films.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so...
That's like Lord of the Rings, just shoot them back to back.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think they did that to keep the kid young, you know?
That makes sense. I wish we would do that in America sometimes.
Yeah.
We let kids grow up way too fast.
I mean, look at this artwork. It's really cool. And
I've seen that set. It's so beautiful. $50 is a great price.
And so, but it has Sword of Vengeance, Baby Cart at the River Styx, Baby Cart to Hades, Baby Cart in Peril, Baby Cart in the Land of Demons, and White Heaven in Hell. But it also includes the 1980 film Shogun Assassin, which is a North American edit that takes the first 2 films, which are Sword of Vengeance and Baby Cart at the River Styx, and sort of makes them one movie. So it's a re-edit, sort of like how the Criterion release of Godzilla includes the Americanized King of the Monsters. Yeah. That's sort of what they included here, which I think is awesome because I like having that history. So I'm really excited. The artwork, when you open it up, is very cool. It sort of has this comic book, like black and white look, but then it has like this blood splatter, and then like the sword cutting through it is like silver. It's really neat. The films are on 3 discs, and then the booklet also continues the sort of black and white comic look to it, with the blood splatter. So,
wow,
really excited to watch these after watching all of the Godzilla movies earlier this year with my brother. I'm actually really interested in watching more Japanese cinema, primarily samurai films, which is why I get something like Rashomon and others. Maybe there will be other samurai stuff coming later. As a matter of fact,
tease. What a tease!
Yeah. You never know what's coming next. All right, what is your 5th haul, DJ?
All right, now my 5th and largest haul is because I did what Connor said. I bought out my store. I couldn't find any. They were out of stock of everything. So, little tip, fun fact: Amazon actually matches the 50% off sale that Barnes & Noble does. Bezos, the jerk, can't let Barnes & Noble have one thing. He has to also get in on this. So I did an Amazon haul because my Barnes & Noble didn't have any more of the of what I was looking for. So this is my biggest one because, I mean, I can just click add to cart. It's right there. It's so simple. So I'm going to go through these ones. These first 2 are actually only $15, so at sale price they're only $7.50. And they are DVDs, because there's no Blu-ray for this. The Red Balloon. The Red Balloon. I mean, I freaking love this movie. Have you seen this?
I have actually not.
Oh, it's not a movie. It's a short film. Mm-hmm. It's actually the only short film to ever win Best Screenplay, the Oscar for Best Screenplay.
Oh, wow.
It is a French film by director Albert Lamouris, and I love his stuff. He's one of those directors that loves doing children films, kind of like Karel Zaman, the set that I showed off before. He really has like a passion for catching the childlike wonder and making great films for kids and for adults, because I love this. It changes me into a kid every time I watch it. It's so beautiful. It is in French, but there's only like maybe 2 sentences. It's like basically a silent film. There's no dialogue pretty much. It's absolutely beautiful film. The score is so good. I just found the score on Apple Music, and I was very excited because I couldn't find it on YouTube. But I really like the score of this movie. I just rewatched it, as you can see. As soon as I brought this home, it's still in the Blu-ray player actually. It's not even in there. As soon as I brought this home, my 2-year-old was like, "I want to watch Red Balloon." So we watched Red Balloon immediately. This is great, and also White Mane, same director. also made White Mane. These two kind of are always going hand in hand in the Criterion collection. They're both on the channel, and they actually come in a set with both of these on the same DVD, or in the same case. But I like to have them separate so I can have both on the shelf. They look really nice. They're both white with just the names. One thing I don't love about these is they don't have the Criterion spine, and they don't have spine numbers. I think they're just Janus Films releases, but for some reason they sell them with Criterion, and they sell them on Criterion's site and they show them on the channel, but for some reason they're not included in the spine numbers. But White Mane is also a great movie for kids. It's about a boy who finds this wild horse, and they live together. It's also about 30 minutes, I believe, 30 or 40 minutes, so another short film. Get these for your kids. If you have kids, definitely get the Red Balloon because you will love it. And then I also recommend White Mane too. It's really good. So check those out. Love those. Also, fun fact about Albert Lemeris, the director, he also invented the board game Risk.
Well, hold on. I actually have that right here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, hold on. Hey, check it out. I have Risk.
Yeah. Fascinating guy. Like, such a cool guy. He made other children's films that I want to check out. And he was filming he actually died at 48, tragically, in a helicopter crash, filming a documentary, which is super sad. But he also helped develop a way to film from a helicopter. He's a Steadicam from a helicopter. So he's a crazy guy, super interesting guy. Check out his movies if you haven't. Red Balloon is on HBO Max, or it has been for a while. I don't know if it still is, but check that out. It's so good. And they're both on Criterion Channel if you have that streaming service. Keeping it going with the I say kids movies. These are actually a little darker. I don't know when I'll show these to my son, but adventure movies that I love, featuring one of my new favorite actors, Sabu. Do you know Sabu? Sabu is the man. This is the Sabu collection. This is from the Eclipse series that Criterion does, where they'll collect foreign films. And this actually has 3 films in it from actor Sabu, who is an Indian actor. He's such a cool guy. He does like all his own stunts. So let me slow down before I just gush about Sabu. This has 3 films in the slipcover. It has in order of release 1937's Elephant Boy. Riding an elephant. He rides the elephant the whole movie, and he's like 12. The Drum from 1938, and then The Jungle Book, my new favorite version of The Jungle Book from 1942. So good. The only one of these I haven't seen is The Drum, which is kind of why I got this set. I watched Elephant Boy on the Criterion Channel, and I watched The Jungle Book on HBO Max. Don't know if it's still there, but if it is, check it out. Crazy, like the stuff they do with the actual animals and the crazy big prop animals, and like there's this giant snake puppet that he like rides through the water. It's so cool. But yeah, that's from 1942. That's probably the best movie of the bunch. But Elephant Boy was really cool too, and I'm excited to check out The Drum because I love Sabu. He's really cool, and I'm excited to check out more of his films as a leading man because he can carry a film. He's really funny and great at action stuff. And speaking of Sabu, going right along, next one I got another DVD because there's no Blu-ray for it. The Thief of Baghdad. Such a fun movie, fantasy adventure based on the Arabian Nights. It's really cool. Sabu plays, he's not the star of this one. This is 1940, so this is probably what got him his starring role in 1942's Jungle Book, but he is the right-hand man. He's like the right-hand man of the main character. And he's running around doing all the adventure stuff. He's like basically Sam and Frodo doing all the adventure stuff, while Aragorn here is just like coasting around, riding on a magic carpet with this woman love. But it's crazy. This is actually, I learned about this movie first in college in my special effects class. This is the first movie to use blue screen and to use chroma key. And man, do they use it. They don't just like do it and try little things. There's like people flying around on magic carpets for the first time that they had to cut all out. There's a flying horse at the end where they had to cut out his legs, and it's crazy chroma key stuff, but it's the very first film to use it. So if you just want a part of film history, if you love that kind of production stuff, definitely check this out. If you love fantasy movies, if you love there's a giant spider fight in this movie where Sabu is literally on the web. I mean, it gives Shelob a run for its money. And then there's a giant genie in this movie that is amazing. How they do like the forced perspective, and they even film it on the same beach, but they created a method where they could have them right next to each other, and he's gigantic and he flies around like Superman. It's crazy.
What year is that? What year is that movie?
1940.
Oh wow. Whoa.
1940. Very early, very early. It's actually not the first Thief of Baghdad. There's a 20s silent film, black and white film, called The Thief of Baghdad. I don't know how close it is to this because I haven't seen that one. But this one is awesome. Definitely going to show this to my kid, and he's going to grow up loving this movie and another Sabu movie. So that is cool. And the artwork. I didn't even show you, but the artwork is really cool. I like the artwork in the front of that. Next up, don't really need to say much about this one. Everyone knows this movie. Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. One of my favorite comedies. Like Connor said in the last video, I'm not a huge comedy guy. Well, I said in the last video. Connor said we have similar tastes in comedy, but I love this movie. Have you seen this?
It's been a long time, but I have seen it, yeah.
Yes. One of my favorite Kubrick movies. I think 2001 is my favorite of his, but good grief. This is right up my alley. This is what I point to when I can't explain my taste for comedy. Like you said, The Office, that kind of comedy that feels... I kind of describe my sense of humor as realistic, which is a weird way to explain humor, but like it doesn't feel like he's reading a script. Like it feels improv, right? That is Peter Sellers in this movie. When he is on the phone, I am dying. I'm like rolling on the floor because Peter Sellers is great in this movie. This also has a really cool set. It's a fold out. Oh, there it goes. So there you go. It's got a front and back, and they're really it's got the disc with the bomb on it. But this is the coolest thing about this set. It comes with the top secret folder from the movie, and it's really cool how they broke this down. It's got the essays come in like things that look like memorabilia from the movie. So this is made to look like the magazine cover that she's on. It's just got a bunch of stories about the film and photos from the film, from production. And then this essay is made to look like the top secret document, which is really cool. They really went above and beyond on these little props. And then this, which has like the cast and the credits and about the movie and special thanks and stuff, is on a little Holy Bible and Russian phrases. So really cool that they made all of these look like props from the movie instead of just like a piece of paper in there. So I love that, all in that top secret folder. And then everything folds up into this beautiful little box. I already had a really cool collection, or a really cool set of this. I had this steelbook version of it, which I also really like, and I probably won't get rid of, but I had to get the Criterion edition of this just because it looks so cool. And then my last one from the fifth haul, very off-brand for me. It's a horror movie from 1932, Island of Lost Souls. This is actually an H.G. Wells movie. It's based on the book Island of Dr. Moreau, which I actually read. That. Yeah, I actually read that on my honeymoon. So I remember this book really fondly. I really like this book. This is like the most like horror of H.G. Wells books that I've read. So it makes perfect sense that this is a horror movie. It's supposed to be a really supposed to be one of the best adaptations of H.G. Wells stuff. And I've been an H.G. Wells kick. I just watched Time Machine for the first time from 1960, and I've got those other two that I'm going to watch. So I'm going to give this a chance. I think I'm going to like it. Like I said, I'm not a huge horror guy, but based on the fact that it's based on a book that I really like, and it's supposed to be one of the better adaptations of his stuff, I'm just going on faith that this is going to be something I really dig. So, and the artwork is awesome. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, but, that looks so... I've seen that before, and I've wanted to buy it just on artwork alone. I had no idea it was based on Dr. Moreau. Now I'm interested in actually getting it.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm going to watch it soon, and I might go on an H.G. Wells kick and check out all three of the ones I got, but it's really cool. I'm excited to get it. So, that is my haul number 5.
Well, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go and try to show off everything I got from the 6th and final haul before my battery dies. So here we go. My brother went out. So for as a gift, there's that giant $300 Ingmar Bergman Ingmar Bergman's cinema set that they put out. I got that for my brother as a gift because he wants to, sink his teeth into some Bergman. He recently just got out of debt, and so to celebrate, he had also saved up some money, and he bought that Federico Fellini set as like a present to himself.
Wow.
And that one's cool because it has Blu-ray and new 4K restorations of movies that are in the collection but are like out of print DVDs. So like,
cool.
That's a really cool set. So he got that, and I'm like, okay, he's got those cool sets. I'm gonna just buy the individual stuff for myself because he's probably gonna be moving to California in a year. So I got Spine Number 4, Federico Fellini's Amicord, which has a really cool artwork, cool wraparound stuff where it's one big image, and then that image goes into this side. And then
I love when they do that stuff.
Image goes into that side. Yeah, it's really neat. It's got a big booklet. So the idea was, I this last haul, I was just gonna kind of try to cheat and like say, okay, I'm just gonna get 2 more, and I'll call it as a part of haul 5, right? So I was gonna get Amicord, and I was going to get one other movie, and that was, I'm gonna break my consistency, where I said I was going to do this by spine number. I'm going to jump ahead. I was also going to get House, which is also known as Hausu, which is a Japanese psychedelic horror comedy whatever. The point is, it sounds like it's exactly my kind of thing because I love goofy horror movies like Sam Raimi's Evil Dead films. I really like The People Under the Stairs is a personal favorite of mine. And apparently this is like really nutty. And this image is sort of like synonymous with Criterion. And I remember in high school, friends of mine had seen it and they were like, dude, you need to see this. Now they were trying to sell it to me as like a so bad it's good movie. I don't think that's actually what this is. I think they were thinking it was supposed to be a spooky horror movie and it's not trying to be that. I don't think. Yeah. I want to give it a watch. The point is I hear this movie's awesome and completely bug nuts crazy. So I want to check it out.
That's actually one of the ones on my short list. I was tempted to get it. It's on the Criterion channel, and I started watching it, but I didn't get very far, so I'll have to wait till November.
Yeah, I'll tell you how it is, because I'll probably be watching it in October.
Perfect.
Another early one, this is Spine Number 10. Like I said, I'm just starting to collect at this point, This is Nicholas Roeg's Walkabout. I popped this in, and this is interesting. Nicholas Roeg is a filmmaker who is kind of more like kind of art house, but he had some crossover hits. And I know that Christopher Nolan cites him as one of his biggest influences, where he refers to Nicholas Roeg's films as esoteric movies, and he says that he really is trying to. When he was young, he watched, I think it was Walkabout, and he watched Star Wars the same year. And they both influenced him to such a heavy degree. And he says, I'm trying to find the balance between Nicholas Roeg and Star Wars. Like, that's like what I'm trying to do. And so I want to just be, I love Christopher Nolan personally. So I want to get more into Nicholas Roeg. I think Roeg's biggest film is probably a movie called The Witches. Yeah, I'm interested to check that out. I popped it in and watched a little bit of it. And it was pretty interesting and not what I was expecting. Next up is a trilogy box set, but it's actually just in a normal jewel case. This is the Samurai trilogy. This is Samurai 1, Musashi Miyamoto, Samurai 2, Duel at Ichijoji Temple, and Samurai 3, Duel at Genryo Island. These are very early Criterions, 14, 15, and 16. So I got it because they were early, and I think I want to get into samurai stuff because I've watched plenty of kaiju stuff. I think the next step in Japanese cinema is to watch some samurai movies.
Yeah, I need to get into some Japanese cinema too. That's a blind spot for me too.
So, now that I had what I wanted, all of a sudden these other these other titles started catching my eye. And I'm thinking, you know what I don't have in my collection at all? I don't have any Andrei Tarkovsky.
Oh, you did it.
And so this is a film called Andrei Rublev. And I just thought the cover was really cool. It has like this sort of gold
It is really cool.
And so I was actually just looking this up after I got it, and so it actually has 2 discs. This was instead of a $40 kind of standard Blu-ray, this was $50. I was like, I wonder why that is. And so I guess the original cut of this movie was 3 hours and 20 minutes long.
Makes sense. It's Tarkovsky.
Tarkovsky. But I guess Tarkovsky's preferred version of this movie is actually 20 minutes shorter. It's only 3 hours. Only 3 hours. So merciful. But yeah. So Tarkovsky was apparently a filmmaker. So he was a filmmaker in Soviet Russia, for anyone who might not know, and he had a lot of run-ins with the Soviet censors, and a lot of so his movies were they were hit with different edits. Stuff was removed, stuff was reshuffled. He had to shoot new scenes. So I'm very curious to know how the 2 different cuts differ, because apparently there were a lot of different cuts of this film depending on which region of Soviet Russia you were living in. Apparently, I'm sure I might be getting some of the history wrong there. So if anyone knows in the comments, please let me know exactly what. But this has his preferred 3-hour version, as well as the predominantly widely distributed 3-hour 20-minute version on a second disc as a bonus feature. So that's cool. I picked that up. And another movie I got was one that I had heard. So when I was in high school, I was really into Alfred Hitchcock and Christopher Nolan. But I liked Nolan and Hitchcock a lot because I loved the very concept, premise-driven plots. Like Rear Window is one of my favorite movies because of just the gimmick gets me. A guy's stuck inside of an apartment and he has to find out if his neighbor's actually a murderer. But it's
so good.
But his leg's broken. Yes, a million times yes. That's why The Twilight Zone is is my favorite show, or at least one of them. It's between Twilight Zone and Twin Peaks. But
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Your other I don't know what you're on right now, but any other day Connor is gonna bite your head off for saying Twin Peaks isn't your favorite.
So I remember I had heard about this film, Diabolique, and the premise was something I was like, I have to watch this, and I never did as a high schooler, and I still haven't seen it, and I finally bought it. This is absolutely the kind of movie I would have blind purchased as a teenager, because what it's about is there is a headmaster at a school, and he is cheating on his wife, and his wife and his mistress both come to hate him and then conspire to kill him, and they drown him.
Wow.
And they drown him in the school's pool, and then in the morning when they drain the pool, the body's not there. That's all I know about the premise. That's all I know about the premise. And as a teenager, I was like, what happens next? I have to know. So I'm surprised it took me this long to actually buy this movie, but I finally did. This is from 1955. It is a French film. So Diabolique. I got that. And then continuing with Tarkovsky, I got Solaris.
Oh, man, I said I almost bought House. I even was more on the fence about buying Solaris. I've seen this. Sorry to step on.
No. Please take the reins for a moment.
I have been watching some Tarkovsky. That's the first feature film I watched. I also watched The Violin and the Steamroller, which is like a short film that apparently he made as a student, which just blows my mind because it's really, really good. But it's short because it's a short film. Anything that's not a short film from Tarkovsky is 3 hours. That seems to be like the shortest movie he makes. But that's a sci-fi movie. I really, really liked a lot of the things in that movie. I liked a lot of the ideas in that movie. I just felt like it wasn't worth my 3-hour investment when I got to the end, and I was just like, oh, that's the end. But I really hope you love it, because I think I could eventually love that movie on repeat viewings, but it just didn't do it for me that first viewing.
Yes.
But the cover's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that blue and orange cover.
It's really neat. So this was one of those movies like Diabolique where I remember being, 15, 16, getting into movies for the first time. I watched 2001. I mean, I love that movie. And I was like, I want more sci-fi movie. I want to watch more sci-fi like this. And so I would look up, like, what are the best science fiction films? And that's how I watched something like Metropolis. And, I mean, Metropolis is nothing like 2001. It's bombastic and just completely crazy. And I love it. I love it completely. It's one of my favorite movies. But then I heard about Solaris. And so I wasn't aware of who Tarkovsky was. I just knew it was kind of this really kind of moody, long 70s science fiction film. And so I've always had an interest in watching this because in my head it's sort of akin to something like 2001. I might watch it and it could be nothing like that. But I had mentioned...
No.
Oh, what was that?
I was going to say, go into it thinking that it's like 2001 with even less plot. Like, it's just people thinking and having flashbacks for a lot of it, but it is a very cool concept, and I love it. Is very similar to 2001 in the pacing, and it's got a killer spaceship set. Like the set is massive, and it's I love so much about it. I just wish, I hope it comes together for me on a repeat view. I really want to love that movie, but I hope you love it.
Yeah, I actually popped it into my 4K player and I watched a little bit of it, and I watched about like the first 20 or so minutes, and the long takes of like
yeah, that's the whole movie.
Seaweed in the water, and I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, I can get used to this. This is it was so quiet. I was like,
It's very atmospheric. Like, I wish I could have just got in the mood for 3 hours and watched it. I had to split it up over 3 nights, which I hate doing that with movies, and that's probably why I didn't have the best experience with it, because all those emotions I had to like turn off for a day and then come back the next. It wasn't even like 3 consecutive nights. It was like split up.
Oh, so, yeah.
If I can find the time to watch it all the way through, I definitely will. The score is also fantastic. I love the score. I've actually listened to the score of it by itself after watching it a couple times. So it's a really good score.
I had actually told a good friend of mine, I think you might... Have you ever met Rasco from Geekvolution? Have you guys ever talked or encountered one another?
I did the Infinity War spoiler cast with him on Geekvolution.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I had told...
I think one other time I met him, but yeah.
So I had told him that you would watch this. I had bought it, and we were going to do this video. And he was like, oh, interesting. And I was telling him about who Tarkovsky was because he had heard the name, but just kind of, I was telling him a little bit about the history that I was getting into a little bit when I was talking about Andrei Rublev. And he was like, interesting. And then the next day he called me and he was like, yeah, I just watched Solaris. It was pretty cool. So now I'm like, wow, I've wanted to watch this for like 10 years now. And now of like the people I know who would have an interest in watching this, I'm the only person who hasn't seen it yet.
No, I'm very interested to see what you think. So definitely check it out.
All right. Second to last thing I got here. This is a film trilogy by Ingmar Bergman. So this is what the weird thing that Criterion does sometimes. They're not really consistent on this. So you get something like Lone Wolf and Cub, or consequently the Godzilla Showa era set, and that is 15 movies in spine number 1000, and this is 6 movies in spine number 841. This one is 4 spine numbers across 3 movies. So basically the set itself...
Sometimes they have separate spine numbers, and sometimes... I think for the Godzilla one, they just wanted to hit 1,000.
Oh, absolutely.
Why they did that. But sometimes trying to fit them into the numbers is really weird.
But it's like the set itself, basically just the box, is number 208.
Yeah.
Through a Glass Darkly is 209. Winter Light is 210. And The Silence is 211. So that's 3 movies and 4 spine numbers. They do the same thing with Richard Linklater's Before trilogy, which if you have not seen those movies, everyone, please
sit down and do that.
Watch those. It will make you want to fall in love, and I hope you never find love in the span of 3 movies. It is really
goodness.
Good.
Well, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just watch the first one.
But they're great. They are some of the most authentic films ever. So I am actually very green when it comes to Ingmar Bergman, similar to Tarkovsky. In my head, I see Bergman, Tarkovsky, and Fellini sort of as this a trio of masters from like the mid 20th century that would just produce and produce and produce a bunch of work, and they're highly influential. Like all of my favorite filmmakers love them, and so I really want to get more educated on like world cinema. And I think Bergman is like the guy. Like he was just like this Swedish madman who made like 50 movies and stuff. And so these three, I don't know what The Spider has to do with anything, but I hear these are three of his best movies, and I want to check it out. And lastly, this one is a blind buy, but this is a movie I've always had an interest in watching since I first heard about it. Are you familiar with the filmmaker Billy Wilder, DJ? So he made Some Like It Hot. He made Double Indemnity.
Yeah.
He made the Apartment. Like he is like widely considered the best screenwriter ever. He was a German filmmaker who escaped Europe when the Nazi occupation was happening. Like he got out of there, I think, before World War II actually like started, and then he came to the U.S. and started making movies. And he is an excellent, excellent screenwriter and a very darn good director in his own right. And this is one of his sort of, I would call it like a hidden gem. It is called Ace in the Hole. In my head, I think this one probably falls into a similar camp that A Face in the Crowd falls into, where these are both films by highly celebrated filmmakers that have sort of been lost to time, but have found a resurgence in a viewership. And I think both of these are like media satires that were not that well received upon release, but have since gained a very
ahead of their time.
Yeah, you could call them ahead of their time. So this is a film that's
the exact same number of syllables in the title.
Oh, do they? Awesome.
Face in the Hole, Face in the Crowd.
Face in the Crowd. Ace in the... Yeah, wow, look at that. So Ace in the Hole stars Kirk Douglas, one of the great, American film actors. And another one of my lights just went out. I have no more batteries to charge and put in there. Oh well, this is what happens when you make long videos.
We can't make a video that's definitely not under 1 hour, hardly under 2 hours.
Yeah, so this is about, Billy Wilder's Ace in the Hole is one of the most scathing indictments of American culture ever produced by a Hollywood filmmaker. Kirk Douglas gives the fiercest performance of his career as Chuck Tatum, an amoral newspaper reporter who washes up in dead-end Albuquerque, happens upon the scoop of a lifetime and will do anything to keep the lurid headlines. Basically, what I think... I thought this would actually go into the premise a little bit more. Apparently, he finds a person who was stuck in a cave, and instead of helping him, he's just exploiting this person for a news story. And so I remember hearing that, and I know a lot of people criticize this for being very cynical when it came out. And, well, I got news for people about the media. It's a very cynical business. So, I don't know, that was always like a premise that stuck with me. And so I've never really seen this in stores, but I think my local Barnes & Noble did a really good job of staying up to date in terms of like, being well stocked. I never see 8.5 in stock, but I think that's probably a movie that is, goes out of stock very quickly. But that was the last one I got. My last pickup of all of these absurd amount of movies I got was Billy Wilder's Ace in the Hole. And I really like the cover too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right, on to my last haul. Not many, more than it should have been. I told you I bought out my store. I didn't have anything there that I wanted. I went to Amazon, got everything I wanted from there. I went to a different Barnes & Noble that I've never been to. Very nice Barnes & Noble, big one, escalator and everything, super fancy. And they had a lot of stuff. I went there only to get one thing, and I didn't. I got 4 things. This is what I went there to get. It's called Election. You know about this?
I've heard of that movie. That's been one of those I've always wanted to get around to finally checking out.
Election, available on Amazon Prime at the moment, at the point of filming this. My wife and I watched it earlier this week. It's a comedy dark comedy from 1999, starring Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon in one of her very first roles, maybe one of her best roles. She's incredible in this. Matthew Broderick is also incredible in this. I never know why his career didn't go much, because I like him and he's amazing in this. I guess he just couldn't get out of the same shtick because he's kind of similar. He's like an older, I can't even think of his most iconic character right now.
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, he's like an older Ferris Bueller in this. He's like he plays the teacher, and Reese Witherspoon is like the goody two shoes, like straight A student, like running for president, and like she's extra, as the kids call her. These days. She's very extra. She's like she's too much, and he's not having it. So the teacher actually like is trying to thwart her from winning class president, and it's a very dark comedy. It goes to some really dark places. I need more of these type of comedies. Like I said, I'm not a big comedy guy. I can't get past the just like cheesiness or like I don't know. Comedies don't feel like real movies a lot of the time. This absolutely does. This never has that cheesy third act like, oh, here we're doing. I know what we're doing now, and then finally everything wraps up with a neat little bow at the end. No, this is a real movie from beginning to end. This should be on the top of everyone's best high school movie lists. All I see on there is like Clueless and Mean Girls and everything. I don't see this. This should be there. This is great. We had a really good time with this, and wasn't expecting to buy it. I was like, oh, I don't need to buy it. It's on Amazon Prime. But I think we're gonna watch this a few more times, so I definitely wanted to have a copy of it. So
Nice.
check out Election if you haven't seen it. That's really good. And then keeping with the yellow theme, this was one that I actually wanted to get the whole month. All month long I wanted to get this one, but nobody had it. The store didn't have it, the first Barnes & Noble didn't have it, and then Amazon sold out even, and I couldn't get it on the Barnes & Noble website. But this Barnes & Noble had it. It's a little rattling in there. I'm going to have to open that and fix that. Boom! Fantastic Planet. This is Fantastic Planet. This is a fantastic movie. It's on HBO Max. It's been on HBO Max since the very beginning
Oh, cool.
of HBO Max's launch. I've seen it on there the whole time. I had it on my list for a long time. It's a really cool French animated film. Really heavy sci-fi film. It's about a planet where humans, very Planet of the Apes-esque, I think. Humans are like, these little human guys are like the pets. Like that. They're not even the pets. It's not even a Planet of the Apes level. It's like they're pests. Like humans are like rats on this. And so they're like that. And these aliens are enormous. And we're like these pests. And it starts with a little human child in his mother's arms as she's running for her life. This is literally the opening of the movie, so I hope this isn't spoiling too much. But she's running for her life, and they're like these like we do with ants. They're just like messing with her and like hitting her, and then like they just kill her, and the baby's all by himself. And this little boy alien takes the child home as a pet, and then it's all about him breaking free and finding other human colonies, and then like they're trying to exterminate all the human. It's really cool. It's a super cool premise. It's not that long. It's only 72 minutes. But I really wanted to have it in my collection because, like I said, I'm a big animation guy, and I feel like you should have this if you call yourself an animation guy. So check out Fantastic Planet. It's probably still on HBO Max if you haven't watched it yet. Not to be confused with Forbidden Planet, which is also an old movie that I keep getting confused with. But this is 1973, so it's very psychedelic and weird, and like it's pretty cool. Just check it out. It's hard to explain. So those are the two that I meant to get. But I had to get this as well. This, I'm about halfway through on the Criterion channel. I haven't finished it yet, but this is my thing. This is a very weird thing. I don't think anyone on this channel is going to be interested in this. This is The Magic Flute. This is a Swedish adaptation of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's opera.
Oh.
and it's not even like an adaptation to film. It's just the opera, like recorded. So it's like, so you can see the cool artwork on the front. It's got, so this is what it is. It's got the, it takes place on a stage. It actually shows the people. I mean, it's filmed. It's not like they just recorded an opera. Like it's filmed like a movie, but they keep it on stage and they use all the same props and the costumes. But it's a fantasy. which I love. It starts with a dragon right out the gate, so like, how can I not love it? There's a dragon in it. It's just like, it's the story of a guy trying to to save a damsel in distress and that he loves. And there's gods and fantasy creatures and everything. It's really cool. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm looking forward to finishing that. And there's a scene in this, or one of the songs in this is called Papageno, which is one of the songs in Mozart's opera. If you have Criterion Channel, check out the animated film Papageno. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I don't even know how it's made. Like, it looks, I think it's from the 70s, like around this period. It might be even earlier. It might be 50s. It looks like it's cut out of like paper.
Oh.
But it's animated. I don't know how in the world, but it's just Papageno, who's a bird catcher, and it's a really cool story about there's like a bunch of animals coming in and he's catching birds, and there's a love interest, and then she's like riding on an ostrich, and there's like a snake that comes in that he fight. It's really cool. That's just a short little animated film. It's only one segment of this. This is the full opera. Not related to this. I just brought it up because it's also Papageno. Papageno's in this. He's played by a guy who looks like Samwise Gamgee, which is amazing. But yeah, this is in Swedish, so you gotta read the subtitles. But it's an opera anyway, so they're just singing the whole time. So it's kind of still it's still very atmospheric and interesting. So check out that. That is on the Criterion Channel too. So that's where I'm watching it right now. So I haven't opened this yet, but I'm gonna finish that soon. Had to get that just because it was a very interesting and out there pick. And then I have one more that Connor also got this time, but I have seen it. And it's really, really good. It is Y tu mamá también. So I picked this one up very last minute at the last Barnes & Noble. I know you got this one too, but you said you haven't seen it yet. Alfonso Cuarón, 2001. I really want to watch more Alfonso Cuarón movies after I saw this. This is on the Criterion Channel. My wife and I watched it earlier this week, over the weekend. And, I mean, I was not expecting to have such a good experience with it. We both loved the movie, and then it put us in a mood where we just had such a great night together. Like, we put the kids down at 8, and then we put this on, and then after the movie we went out in our backyard in the swimming pool and just like hung out and had like
Aww.
Such a great night and talked, and we completely lost track of time. We were talking so much. It was like we were dating again, and we looked at the clock and it was midnight, and we're like, holy, we got to go back inside. What are we doing? We got to get up and work tomorrow. It was a work night because I remember it was like midnight and we had to work the next day. But, this is a great, great film. It puts you in such a mood. It's I know it's obviously very erotic. You know that much about it?
I think I knew that much about it. Yeah.
It's a very adult film. Like, literally the opening scene is a sex scene. Like, and it doesn't even get you into it. Like, the camera opens, they're both naked, they're already going. Like, but it's such a real movie, and I usually don't like movies like this where it's just like everyday, like mundane life. You know, I've talked to you about this before, but for some reason it really worked for me here. There's like a narrator, and as you go through, and they're just having this kind of mundane little. It's a road trip movie. I'll say that much about it. And as they're driving along, the narrator is telling you all these things that are happening just around them, all these horrible, tragic things, and they're not even noticing because they're just focused. It's just like two college guys who are just trying to get laid and are just smoking a lot of weed, and like they're not even noticing all the stuff that's happening in their country. Alfonso Cuarón described it as a story about two teen boys in their teen years, like and their journey to adulthood, and also a country in its teen years on its journey to adulthood. So it's very much about Mexico itself and everything that it was going through at the time. And it's, I don't know, it's just a beautiful movie. I don't know the actress's name. The actress in this is amazing. It's heart-wrenching. It's hilarious. It's also a really funny movie. It's basically a road trip comedy with a lot of sex and also a very emotional, sad part. It's everything. It's a great movie. I wasn't expecting to buy it. I was expecting to just watch it once with my wife. But like I said, part of it was we had such a great experience with it that I just wanted to remember that night and just have this kind of on my shelf. So This is, sorry, that's the main actress. It slides. I don't know if you've opened yours yet, but this is kind of like you said, like the one piece. And this is from two famous scenes in the movie. That, and then this is from the famous scene, and it's got like a very thick essay in this one with a lot of beautiful pictures. The pigs, you'll know what the pigs mean when you get there. But such a good movie, just beautiful cinematography, and just this is, I don't know. I could just sit here. This could have been 3 hours or longer, and I could have just hung out with these people because this was a very interesting movie, and I was not expecting it. So check this out if you haven't. Like I said, don't watch it with the kids, but it's a great movie to watch with your significant other or just by yourself because it's just fun to hang out with these characters for a little bit. So that was not planned, but I did buy it, and that was the last one in my last haul number 6. As my cat makes a bunch of noise behind me. But we did it, man. We
did it. The light went out. We did it. Yeah. My light just went out, so I guess the ending of this video, you'll have to see this. I don't even know what to describe this. It's like.
It's atmospheric, man.
Yeah, this is like a film noir where I'm almost a silhouette right now. Oh well.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
No, hey, we're about to wrap it up. I mean, unless you have anything else to say about this month, I mean, we went crazy. All of these were bought in the month of July only, and we're cutting ourselves off completely, at least until November, with the next 50% off sale, because I can't spend any more money right now on movies.
Well, yeah, me neither. I guess when it comes to November, right now I'm sniping for... I have all of Orson Welles' Criterion films except for one, and that is F for Fake, which I thought I would get my hands on, but it sold really fast, and they did not get another copy during the entire month. So I want to get F for Fake, and I want to get 2 more of Akira Kurosawa's samurai movies. Yojimbo and Sanjuro are like in a box together, and I want to get the 2 of those. So that's what I'm gunning for next time.
Yeah, there was some that I wanted to get, but I held off this month. I may get them in November. Like I said, I mentioned House and Solaris. I may want to pick up Solaris depending on my second viewing, and I'm going to finish House on the channel and see if I like that enough to purchase it. 2 other ones I want to get, The Man Who Knew Too Much, the original version, which I actually like better than the remake that Hitchcock did.
Oh, wow.
I prefer the 30s version. Obviously, I love James Stewart in the second one, but I feel like the ending was nowhere near as good as the ending of the first one, the original. That's one that, if you don't know, Hitchcock remade his own movie. It's very different though. But
yeah, it's interesting because Peter Lorre is in the original, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because he's
really good. I love that one.
He's one of my favorite actors. So it's like in Hitchcock's original, it's got one of my favorite actors, and then in his remake, it has another one of my favorite actors.
Yes, so. James Stewart is incredible. I like the second one a lot too, but I think the first one feels, I don't know, I like it a little bit better. And then another one I wanted to get was Robinson Crusoe on Mars. I don't know if you have that one.
I
really want to get that one. Yeah, that looks like right up my alley. That's a cool movie. And then I'm tempted, after our box set video, I'm very tempted to get that Godzilla set. I don't know if it makes sense because I haven't seen any of the movies, but I've heard nothing but good things from anyone who's grown up with Godzilla, and I kind of want my kids to grow up, or at least have the ability to grow up with that set. And maybe I can... You kind of do this as a parent, where things that you missed growing up, you can kind of re-experience them for the first time with your child, is as close as you can get to experiencing it as a child. So I've done that with a couple things, like the Disney movies that I missed, watching them with him for the first time. And I might do that. I don't know. The Godzilla set, it's $250 normally, or like $230, and then it's $115 like on the half off sale. So it's still pretty steep, even half off. But it's worth it, man. It looks so beautiful. Like, I was so jealous when you were showing that off. So maybe.
Yeah, we'll I know you're a Power Rangers guy, and from what I understand, especially like the later Showa stuff, where they know that the sell of those movies as monsters hitting each other, they get ridiculous with the brawls, and I find them to be like wickedly entertaining. So yeah, I hope you can watch it and appreciate it and like it. And maybe it'll scratch a similar itch that something like Power Rangers does. So.
Yeah, I hope so. I love the first film, but I know they become a very different thing afterwards. So hopefully I'll get into them. But yeah, that's all now. I'm sure between now and November I'll watch a bunch of things on the Criterion Channel or HBO Max, and then have a big list again. So maybe we'll be revisiting this video in a few months. But
Maybe.
We'll see. But thanks you guys for watching, and we had a great time making these couple videos. Hopefully you enjoyed them, and we'll be back soon with whatever crazy endeavor we try to record in under 2 hours next. Probably failing, but yeah, we'll see you guys later. Bye guys. Thanks Connor for joining me. You're awesome as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I will turn off that light and go into the darkness. That will be
Okay.
how I spend the night.
All right. Bye guys.
Bye.
See ya.